Steph, you're walking off the court, ripping your jersey. Just what are the emotions after a game like this that ends the way it does, but also goes through all the overtimes, all of the incredible shot making?
Our whole season, we've had, some tough breaks, some self-inflicted wounds, some games that, obviously you should have won, and there's disappointment walking on the floor. And like tonight is a night where you feel like you played well enough to win, almost like the Sac game, and again have nothing to show for it. We fought the whole way, stayed in it even when things weren't going our way. Gave ourselves an opportunity. Goes down to the last possession 3 or 4 times, regulation, both overtimes, and it just shows that we really want it. We're playing with a little bit of desperation, trying to change the tide of our season, and just don't have nothing to show for it right now.
Steph, you said the other night after the loss that you viewed that loss differently in terms of closing than some of your prior losses. How did you look at tonight with the 2 overtimes, but the inability to still close it out?
It's the same vibe. Doesn't make it any better. It actually makes it worse. Like I said, played well enough, had a tough stretch in the middle of the fourth quarter, but you can see we were flying around, playing aggressive, understanding every possession was important, and makes or misses or whatever. Like there's just an energy about what we were trying to do. So the good news is if we can keep doing that, you would like to think that you could build momentum, and that's what our hope is. But it's just a tough way to, back-to-back games at home that you play well enough to win and just don't get it done.
Bigger scope, do you feel like you might have found something with Draymond primarily at the 5 and then that new starting and closing lineup you guys are using?
He's had plenty of experience there. He provides such a big presence. That lineup, we have some speed, we have some athleticism, we have Draymond's brain and mind, and just the way that he sees the floor defensively. We had a pretty good start to the game tonight, so it's one of those situations where, you have a lot of confidence with that group, but it is a different lineup, again, that we're trying to, build an identity around. And there was a lot of good to see out there with that group, so I'm sure we're probably going to roll it back.
Steph, just curious, bigger question about the league. Had a lot of 70-point games lately. It used to be something very few and far between. We saw a lot of great offensive skill in this game. Why? What is your opinion on that? Why do you think we're getting more of these games than ever? Is it the offensive skill at the league being higher than ever, or other things? How do you see it?
It's probably a combination of a lot. There's guys that know how to put the ball in the basket. With Luka, Joel, Cat, Book, they're perennial scorers. That's what they do. The level of it and how, in the short time span, how many games like we've had like that. I think, guys get hot, build confidence, the floodgates open, and, that's when the momentum kind of like they're obviously capable of doing that. It's interesting, though, like how the game is refereed and things like that. You've seen it a little bit tonight. It's hard to be as physical as you want with some of the patterns of how things are called. And guys are taking advantage of it. And, if you can obviously score at all 3 levels and get to the foul line, you're gonna have a night. So I think it's great for the league in the sense of showcasing skills sets and, the variety of how guys score. But there's some stuff to correct as well.
Steve made sure to point out the free throw discrepancy, 43-16, and also that you only got 3 free throws in 43 minutes. How much do you feel like that tilted the game, and what played into all that?
I mean, we've had this conversation, especially playing against them. They draw a lot of fouls. Last year they had some crazy, free throw disparity and advantage. Tonight is just one of those where it's just not consistent, and that's the most frustrating part. Because you want to be in a place where the players decide the game, and it's either the players decide the game or it's consistent on both ends of what you're calling. And so, not to say, obviously we shoot a lot of threes. I know that there's a different style, but there's probably 3 plays I was involved in where clear bad call in the sense of giving guys unnecessary free throw attempts, and then on the other end, contact or plays that just they look the other way for whatever reason. So in a single game when you have inconsistency on both sides, that's the most frustrating thing of all. Doesn't mean that we're going to go to the line 58 times. It just means that there's a tone of the game and there's a flow that we can, adapt to and adjust to. And it wasn't like that tonight, so it's tough.
Steph, LeBron said he hopes he'll be cool with his grandkids someday, the fact that he got to battle with you in so many games over the years. I mean, he plans to talk to his grandkids about all these thrilling games with you and hopes it makes him cool. Do you sense that these games will be something that you guys look back on years from now?
Absolutely. Every year that we get to do this, and the back and forth, the battles from all the finals runs to the playoffs last year. After the horn sounded tonight, there was a little laugh of, you can't imagine a scenario where a game like tonight happens. His year, 21? My year 15. All the other guys in the league that have been doing it for 15 plus years, KD, CP, it's insane. So, you look forward to the battles, but you also appreciate, the mutual respect of what it takes to keep doing what you're doing at this level, because only a few people know how hard it is. I'm happy to be in that group.
Steph, what have you seen from Wiggins over these last few games, and how much of a difference has it made?
We just love aggressive Wiggs that's, obviously making his presence felt on the defensive end and taking what, is there on the offensive end. I think there's probably a little bit more opportunity to feature him on offense, especially with some mismatches and stuff. And especially when he has that aggressive nature to his game, it only helps us even more. So he's been through, obviously, a lot this year. Understanding, when he plays well, we're a much better team. And we obviously need that when he's out there.
You guys have mentioned how many heartbreakers you've lost this year, but Steve came and said how optimistic he was after this one. Do you feel more positive threads to pull after something like this, despite how heartbreaking it was?
I think you just stay in the moment, you feel the pain of it, and embrace it. But you need to find something again. It's all winning is contagious, and these last 2 games, if they go the other way, there's just a different vibe in our locker room. Even if it's a 1-point win, and you're still oh, we can play better, we can do this and this. So the challenge is to not let the pain of it last until when we come back to practice, and get ready for Tuesday. We have to come with this, the same desperation and energy and competitiveness. Try to have a short memory, but losing sucks. It's the worst feeling in the world. And until you get over the hump, you kind of have to just sit in it, and that's where we're at.
Steph, you seem to have good success taking Davis off the dribble, but I was curious if you were determined to take a three in the second overtime. Was that going to be
Which play?
The 3-pointer you made? Were you going to take that regardless to end it or not, or was that
In the second overtime?
Yeah.
No, that was a read just because it was a catch and shoot. Draymond set a good screen. I turned around and saw Vanderbilt's on the ground. That's a shot I got to take. It wasn't one where you're dribbling around, a little bit of chaos and trying to force one up. So, honestly, whether it was tied up, down one, up one, or tied down one, down two, didn't matter. That was a shot I was going to take based on the way the play unfolded.